Welcome to Astrology Live. I'm your host, Alex Harper, coming to you live from Chris Brennan's house. Yes, there's a secret cabaret mask party happening this evening, and this is what Astro Twitter is really doing when you're not looking, is going around in Venetian masks and jerking each other off. I wish that it was as edgy and cool as Eyes Wide Shut, but actually it's kind of nerdy and a little bit sad. So, but we're having a great time nonetheless, right? And we are ready to read some charts. So, we have three guest astrologers for you this evening. Now, Miss Kirah is running a little bit late. She will be joining us shortly, but it is my pleasure to introduce Astrobitch, aka Quentin. Hey, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty great. I got ready for this as like a Libra rising. I showered, I shaved, I put on the right shirt. I'm like, how are you?
Great. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm glad to have you on the show. We're also joined by Alberto, a museum astro. Hey, dude, what's up?
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here.
Okay, so let me send out the invites to everyone for the callers, and I just want to say while I'm doing that this is like a kind of casual astrology reading show, right? If you have a like very serious concern, or even if you don't, even if you just want to know more, I would always encourage you to get a reading, a full professional reading, perhaps by one of us, right? This kind of show is really about like if we ran into each other at a bar or a coffee shop and started talking about astrology, and then I looked at your chart and was just like casually like, okay, here's what I see just off the top of my head. It's that kind of reading. So this does not stand in place of your official doctor's advice. Seek legal counsel in your appropriate jurisdiction, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so I have oh yes, we have our first caller joining us. Hello, London, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. um yeah, how's your Thursday evening going?
Well, you see, I'm in a bit of a vortex per se because I just moved, like, did a cross country move from the East Coast to the West Coast, so I'm still getting used to like the time zone arrangement. So I've been mostly like very like tired, trying to like readjust, like recalibrate. So I haven't really done anything. Just I've been really sleepy.
Well, that's understandable, right?
Yeah,
Moving across the country is a big thing.
yeah.
Um, I am just sending this last link out, and then we can get started on your chart. I'll pull you up.
Okay.
So, um, here we go. All right. Now, can you guys? All right, you can see that. All right, here we go. Can you see solar fire, everyone?
Yep.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right, cool. London, what is your birthday?
March 31st, 1990,
And the time?
6:30 p.m.,
6:30 p.m. City.
Birmingham, Alabama.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
Mhm.
Does this look like your correct chart?
It should be
16
16
degrees
degrees.
Libra
Yeah, right.
rising.
Mhm.
Cool.
Sorry, I thought
All
that
right.
whatever that is. What is that? I don't think that's the Black Moon Lilith, is it?
Oh, that's Lilith. That's true Lilith, which is
True.
different than,
Yeah, my
yeah,
chart
most
is
people
like
use
the other
mean
one.
Lilith, but I like using true Lilith. I think it's yeah.
Okay.
Um so okay, let's see here. This is so you're Libra rising. I mean,
Mhm.
the first thing I notice is that there's an eclipse coming up right on your sun.
Don't say that. Already
How have
like
the
April.
you also well, like we are midway through this Aries Libra set of eclipses. Have you noticed any themes they're bringing up for you in your life so far?
I've been through hell. Like literally, this whole move was like a client like saving me from like homelessness. Like I've been through a topsy turvy kind of thing where like I was supporting myself with like my own work, and the last Venus retrograde like wreaked havoc on my life, and then followed up by those eclipses. Like I met some guy who just kind of made everything worse. um,
Mm,
he was literally like born on the day that one Libra eclipse happened back in October 14th. Uh, I didn't do well with those eclipses because it was just like an instance after instance, like 3 evictions like back to back. Just because I was just trying to stay stable, but it was just beyond my control at that point. It was all due to like external like instances.
right. So it wasn't really your choice to move.
Yeah.
Um, I will jump back to that, but I just want to mention for the other guests, people that are waiting to have their charts read that have just joined, we will get to everyone. Just kind of stay on and keep yourself muted, and then when it's your turn, we'll bump you on. So I'm sorry to hear that you've been going through some difficulties with this move. I mean, you do have the Neptune here on right here on the IC. I mean, has housing always seemed a little bit like, is it always changing? Is it kind of like you feel like
My
you're
entire
always
life,
moving around?
always moving. Like, if it's not just because I'm bored, it's because like I just don't have a choice. Because like I'll stay in a place and I start to feel restless. Like, oh, am I gonna stay here? Is something gonna happen? Like I have that habit now of like moving to a place and I won't unpack for the longest time because I feel like something's gonna happen that's gonna like suddenly uproot me out of nowhere. So
Right.
I've lived in like 5 different states now. I think my longest was probably when I was just in college because I had college stabilizing me in Florida. But that was like from 2008 to 2013. After that, it's just been like move after move after move. So,
Well,
got it.
you have, I mean, so I know that moving a lot can make it hard to have a steady line of work and a steady job, but you do
Oh
have
no.
Mercury here on the descendant and the sun also here. So I feel like you might do something with like working, perhaps get speaking for other people or being a representative for other people or doing something where you're kind of either interacting directly one-on-one with clients or customers or something like that, or you are like presenting other people's words on their behalf. Is like, have you done either of those kind of lines of work?
Um, no. The only like talking I've ever kind of like job that like represented that was like when I used to work at call centers. But that was like a long time ago. My main thing is like I'm an artist, like a freelancer. And I have like a pretty big platform on Twitter, and like just over the years, I've built that up since I was in high school. So I've always just been able to sustain myself
Nice.
off of my artwork, and I do have like a lot of clients, like literally living with 2 of them right now who saved me from my situation. And they do the same type of work as well. Like we're furry artists, just
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, so it's interesting because you do have, like, by whole sign house, you have the ruler of the 11th house in the 7th house. And, you see that a lot of times with people that have an audience,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
That's another thing. So I guess you do kind of make money through interacting with people. It's just on a more mass scale than a one-on-one scale. So that's
Yeah, so
interesting.
if it's not online, it'll be at conventions too. So like
Right.
I was doing a lot of was like traveling to like, anime cons or like furry cons and, talking to people that way, like networking that way. It's it's always been like a mix of two. If it's not online, it's in person.
That's cool. Did anyone else want to take a shot at what they
Yes.
see in this chart?
I'm like, so something kept pointing out to me. So like, I'm also a Libra rising, so I've been paying attention to these eclipses as well, because like it's awful.
Cool.
And the first eclipses that happened in Aries and Libra happened on your Mercury, which is your L9, and also square your Saturn, which is your L4. So
Yeah.
that's literally you moving across the country for a different house. And then the next eclipses, which I think will be on October 3rd or 4th, will be
Mm-hmm.
exactly on your sun. And then
Oh,
it's also going to be square your Uranus. So that's going to be another change.
yeah.
But it's also square your Chiron, which is once
Oh,
again the housing instability things that we were like that's becoming a theme for some reason this time.
my Chiron.
Also, Quentin, she's gonna have Mars stationed direct on her midheaven,
Oh
Just
God,
real
I'm gonna have
quick,
that too.
just real
just like a degree
I
shy of.
I do
Yeah.
use they them pronouns, not she her.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
It's
I didn't know.
I should have said
Yeah. So they're
that.
gonna have this station here on just a degree shy of their midheaven. Um. So yeah, I don't know that um there could be more moves, right? I mean, what do you think, Quentin?
I feel like it's more contractual or business energy because Mars is L7 and in the 10th house. It just makes sense to me for it to be more like maybe you moved and now you get like another job or something. Or like you find like a
Well,
new source of
Yeah,
income. This is
I
also the
agree.
second house ruler.
well,
I
I did
mean,
say that like after, so I'm just here in Arizona temporarily. I don't do well with the heat. I'm not a
Real.
so I said like once my finances are stable, ideally I wanted to go to Colorado next because like I had an astrocartography reading and my Jupiter line is here in Denver.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I wanted to just jump in a couple of things about the moving. So the Gemini moon in the ninth, distant places, along, with the Chiron in Cancer. So it's like there's some kind of wound about home and
yeah,
and,
I
and
don't like
roots.
I don't like home. I was
Yeah,
just I hated it.
yeah. I was also going to say I think you're in a 11th house perfection year also.
Yeah.
So that's something where that means your fans and your fan base is going to be important to you this year.
Yeah, I actually have to do a lot of reconciliation with that because last summer there was like a major I had a roommate who is big on Twitter. They have a big platform and we were moving together and long story short, things didn't go their way. They were trying to like mooch off of me and they decided to slander my name. Like it was a whole like smear campaign, cancellation kind of thing. And I've been off of my main Twitter since last summer. And my clients are trying to help me come back per se, like reappear like sometime this year. They were thinking in October, which is really funny. You say the eclipse is like right on my sun in October. But it's basically like how do we get back on Twitter because that was like where all my money was coming from. Right now I've been dormant ever since because it's like if I breathe, people are just like there they are, get them off the internet. It's horrible. You know, so that's we are doing some rebuilding with my clientele this year and my platform because it's just been nasty ever since that smear campaign went around. Full of like stuff that wasn't true, just convenient hearsay.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is a little tenuous, but Jupiter is your L3 and your L6, and one of
Yeah,
the traditional things of the sixth house is enemies, and so roommates in the third, enemies in the sixth.
yeah, yeah. That's been a big thing for a long time. Like I don't have to be doing anything, and people just come after me for some nonsense.
Mm.
Because a lot of people copy my work in this community. They make money off of my art because I sell like bases and things. People making a full living off of my work. So
Wow,
yeah, and
sucks.
yeah, and last back in October of last year, someone took all of my templates that I have up on a website and put them out for free, where people are supposed to buy them. You know, And so it's just like, well, we hate them now, so let's just take all their work and put it out for free. But they'll still make money off of it, though. So that's the thing.
So when did this like slandering campaign start?
Literally the day the nose went into Aries and Libra.
Right.
Literally the day.
All right. Well then, if that is, was there an intensification around the eclipses in March and April of this year?
I would say so, because that's when everyone started just saying, you know what, we're just gonna take all of their things and put it up for free. But the thing is, I wasn't really around to like kind of keep track on it, because like I had left Twitter and I had a few friends keeping up with it for me, but like I wasn't there because like this whole thing affected my main source of income. I lost access to like my health care. I was on a variety of medications that like keep my mental health in check. So I didn't want anything like triggering like me in a very vulnerable state. So I wasn't sure if it was worse. I just know that they didn't stop talking about me for months. Even now, some of them still talk about me to this day. Even just recently, someone tried to take my old art and make $1,000 off of it by tracing it.
God.
Yeah.
High key, I see something else.
What else do you see?
Okay, so in my head, I calculated the part of vocation, and if we use whole sign houses, it would be in the eighth house, and that's a house that has to like do with like stealing other people's resources, stuff like that. So it just makes sense that like people are literally trying to steal stuff from your job. And then there's another thing that I saw where the moon being your L10 conjunct Ceres, which has themes of like taking, grief, like all those other types of things, and it's also trine your Venus, which would be the ruler of your part of vocation. So there's like a clear theme going on between like your work and like grief and being taken, and like all those other types of like Ceres themes or series, however the fuck you say it.
Yeah, it's always taken. Literally, that's what I was with me and a friend, my roommates were saying. Like, it's been nice to like kind of just keep my art to myself, because like I can develop my style in peace without having to worry about, oh, someone took this part or this piece of it. But I know the minute I come back and like share more work, it's just gonna get eaten up. Like that's just how it always goes, because these people like to feed off like what's popular in these spaces. They don't know how to think for themselves. They look at whoever's making the most money, whoever's most popular, and if that's doing well, they want that. And I've always been like a target for this, like since.
Well, yeah. I mean, but they're a target because you're a target because like you're good, right? And a lot of people that suck and like hate themselves and aren't doing anything good, they're just like haters, right? And they will
Yeah.
try and take you down because they see that you've got the light inside you, right? And I mean, forget those people, right? Because like, look, being an artist is here in your chart, right? Like, so the Hellenistic texts say that artisans and craftsmen have a combination of Saturn, Venus, and Mercury, right? And also, if Mars is there, it also helps. So, and here you've got like a square between Saturn and Mercury. Venus and Mars are both ruled by Saturn. So you've got all of these planets that are necessary working together, and they're actually in like, because Mercury makes an almost exact sextile with Venus, and Mercury makes an exact square with Saturn. So I'd say you're able to express like your artistic visions. Like basically, you can make things real that is usually only in people's heads. And so, I mean, you're clearly successful for a reason. You've got this signature in your chart that's in all these old texts. So I would just believe in yourself, right? Because you might be going through this period now, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think I think that the eclipse that comes up that activates their sun could be a positive thing, because it's like it's in the seventh house, right? And Mars is in the fifth by whole sign, right? Which is the house of good fortune, right? It's ruling the sun. Um, I feel like perhaps there could be a like setting the record straight, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm thinking into like the next perfection where Mercury will be the ruler, and if it's square to Saturn, which is L5, I feel like it may be more intensification of getting your work stolen instead.
Oh, well.
Oh well.
I mean, the work stealing, I don't know. I was
That's
thinking
just
more
a
about the
constant.
reputation.
That never ends.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I want to just add in a couple of things about fixed stars. So part of the roommate thing, you have Uranus on Antares, which is a martial star. It's kind of an angry. It's another version of Mars. It's kind of malefic. And then you have Vega on Neptune, or Neptune's on Vega rather, and that's about enchanting music and creativity and things like that. So it's kind of interesting. You've got a little bit of a push and pull there.
Yeah, my mom was scared for me when I told her, "Hey, I have some people who want to take me," and she's like, "More roommates? Every time you have a roommate, it always goes wrong." Literally, the only good roommate I ever had in college was in college because like we didn't have a choice. We had 5 years to finish because we both switched majors at some point,
Right.
and then that was it. But every other roommate I've had, horrible situation.
Yeah, and that could be an example of exaltation being a jerk, so that the ruler of the third is Jupiter, and exaltation sort of taking what you want, right? And then you've got the Neptune of deception in the third also, and then Antares also.
Right.
Well, I really like these guys. They're a lot younger than me, so I don't know. It's not bad. They've been very nice, but always nice in the beginning. I always
Um,
my Mars in the fourth house causing problems.
yeah, it can. So unfortunately, we do have to, I think, move on to the
That's
next person. There's a few people waiting. So,
fine.
but thank you for coming on and sharing your chart with us and your life with us. It's really cool. Couldn't do the show without you, so
Sure.
appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hi, how you doing?
Oh my gosh, you came on with no warning. I'm pretty good. How are you?
Sorry.
I
Doing
love your
great.
plushie.
Thank
Snorlax.
you.
Wait, I'm gonna show you mine.
Oh, cute. I don't know what show that's from, but I like
It's
he's
blue.
ginormous. I'm like a tall person and it still makes me look little.
I love it.
So, oh, Alex, do you have my birth time?
Yes, I'm gonna need your information. Hold on.
I can send it to you.
Sorry. All right. Okay. What is your information?
Oh, you can't see it in the chat?
Oh, right. Did you put
I
it in
can
the
read it
chat?
to you.
Hang on.
Oh, that's what that was.
I can't.
It's
um,
2:30.
It's
Well,
December 29th. 1997 in Houston, Texas. And then the
All right.
time is 2:35 p.m.
Like late lunchtime, so you know I'm a Taurus rising.
Real.
All right. Does this look like your chart?
Yes.
Great.
Saturn's in the 11th in this one.
Well, this is Placidus. Yeah, so it's normally
Okay.
in your 12th, right, by whole sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read using both, and so it's easy for me to read a chart, whole sign and Placidus at the same time. That's just it took me forever to actually switch my settings to whole sign, and then I've switched them back now.
Okay.
Anyway, how are you? Thanks for coming on the show. It's great to have you on. Yeah, what
Thank you guys.
did you have a good day?
Yeah, today was pretty chill. I hosted a family reunion yesterday, so today was really like nice and mellow in comparison to having like 40 people in your house, 20 of them being stubborn old folks. So it was pretty chill. How about y'all?
I literally just like
Hi.
woke up and came here.
Oh my god.
I'm like, I'm literally in bed right now.
Well, your summer is going pretty mellow. That's good to me.
I called out of work. I rested.
Period.
Well, you said that when half the people are old, I mean, you do have this massive stellium here ruled all by Saturn, right? So
Yeah.
you've got so many Saturn ruled placements.
Nearly all of them.
Yeah, like have old
Right.
people been a fixture in your life? Have you had, you know, older people that are close to you or that have helped
Um,
you?
I feel like okay, the ones that I'm related to are kind of like a disappointment, low key, because I feel like
Yeah.
I'm more mature than them. But random old people that I find are always really
Yes.
cool, and
Yeah,
they're
it would be people that weren't your family because it's opposite the IC. So the IC is like your family and your ancestors, right? These
yeah.
all these placements are opposite it. So it's not going to be people that you're related to. It's going to be like, you know, just some older person that takes an interest in you.
hmm Yeah, I live like 2 streets down from these people. They're like a father and son duo, and they're like 6'5" and 6'7". The dad's an Aquarius, and he works on like natural foods, natural like all types of herbal stuff. His house is full of like African like what do they call it, sculptures and stuff. And he's really cool.
That's
I feel
cool.
like he's really wise. So yeah,
Yeah.
random example.
Because you also have Mercury trine Saturn. So this is like um I don't know, but like they're both in a kind of by sign, they're kind of you know, Mercury they say doesn't like to be in Jupiter's signs and Saturn doesn't like to be in Aries. It's considered fallen. So I it's kind of like you know, perhaps there's like maybe like a lot of like wisdom that you don't consider until later, right? Or you get information that you reconsider, right? Because it seems like this trine would bring about clarity, but it might not come immediately, right? You might have to you know, go back and revise. Is any of that resonating?
Mm, what are you talking about though? Like go
Like
back.
in you if you like I'm saying for your mental processes because we're talking about Mercury, right? Like Mercury's kind of well placed, but it's like maybe do you have to look at things more than once or go back and look at something again and you might not understand it until later. Does that
I
I don't
definitely
know.
want
If
to
I'm wrong,
revisit.
tell me I'm wrong.
No, I feel like that probably applies to I try not to make my mind up about a situation off the bat and just be like, oh, well, how does this person think? Or, you know, am I misjudging this or what? I feel like it's a lot of like,
Reconsidering what
yeah,
you think,
and
right?
reflecting
Okay.
and trying not to be like, I don't know, the bad guy.
I understand. I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, she also has Saturn in the 11th, which could be old friends, right? Or being with groups of old people. And then Saturn and Mars are a mutual reception, which means that they have the keys to each other's house and they can stay over anytime. You know, they can kind of, so there's a kind of a familiarity with that. There's sort of a younger and older energy there.
Yeah, and but this Mars is also so Mars in Aquarius is actually statistically the rarest Mars placement.
Oh,
So Mars, due to the elliptical nature of its orbit, it from our position on Earth, it appears to go the slowest with when it's in Leo, right? Because that's when it's furthest away, and it appears to go the fastest when it's in Aquarius because that's when it's closest. So you know, statistically, Mars in Aquarius is the least common placement. And it's so when Mars is fast, it's like Mars in Aquarius can kind of be like, I like to describe it as having a car that goes too fast, like that can go faster than you have the ability to control it, right? And it's like you got a like supercharged engine, right? And but it's easy to kind of lose control of it, and it's also right here on your midheaven. So I could see that being like perhaps, you know, getting into just like going into a situation and then people see you, they're like, whoa, like what are you doing, right? Like maybe taking people aback or something like that.
Hmm. Okay.
High key, like what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the perfected ruler, which would be the moon, and it's in a like it's combust the sun, or like whatever the fuck you say, and like it's also square to Saturn. So I'm mostly curious as to how your year has been going so far. Like it's
My
been very
year.
challenging in my opinion.
This year's been pretty boring. I went to Puerto Rico in June, and then I'll be going to Montana in like 2 weeks. But other than that, there's like not a lot going on.
Okay, that makes sense with the whole sign house placements because also I guess with this one too, it makes sense in the whole sign house because that would be in the ninth whole sign house, so that would make sense why the theme of travel would show up so frequently. And I feel like I wasn't listening, but like, I feel like you said something about family in the beginning, and like the sun rules the fourth house, so like it does make sense. But since the moon is afflicted from the sun, it would show like problems with family or with ancestry, with blah blah blah. And then also Saturn rules the 10th house. And like I'm not sure like whatever the hell your goals are this year, but like I would assume there's like some trouble or some conflict with your goals this year. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I can't decide what I want to do because I want to make like video content about like philosophy and spirituality and all this
I
stuff.
love that.
I don't like being on camera though. Like I hate being on camera. And then I'm like, well, maybe like I should just write because I really like
Aquarius.
writing and I feel like I can express myself really well. Like I've always been told that. But I'm like, well, people don't read anymore. Like I would like to do it. Like I would be on like Pinterest and like share it on Instagram. Be like, read my blog, guys. Like get your attention span back, low key. But
I key like this makes sense because you're in a third house perfection year right now. So like I'm like why not? And like right now, like when this thing started, like I had like the ascendant in my third house because I was like, oh, like I'm gonna be on the media, I'm gonna be on camera, I'm gonna be talking, blah blah blah. So like it does make sense for you to like at least like write some shit during the third house perfection.
yeah, but I just can't like decide because I'm like, well, what if like people don't like me? Oh my god, like I don't
I'm a
know.
Gemini, so like I would do it anyway, and I would do it all.
I
Yeah,
mean, the thing is that like the ruler of your seventh house is here on the midheaven, so I feel like it doesn't really matter if people like you because they can't not pay attention. Like you definitely grab attention. Like that's what I was getting at with this Mars on the midheaven is like you're like a attention grabber, right? So
And
it's
it's
like,
also wait, sorry. It's
yeah,
also
you, I go ahead.
it's also conjunct Palace, and like that does
Yes.
make sense for like strategically.
what
Like
is
I'm also a 10th houser, and like I also have Palace in my 10th house, and like the way that I like present myself, like other people, like at work and like to the media, XYZ. Like when Alex like first met me, I was wearing like a bow tie and some shit because I was like I need to like look smart and like Norwalk. So like it's very like strategic. It's very strategic in like how you present yourself to the public, especially when it comes to like how you like forge like future connections that will help propel you in like business relations.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, the moon, in addition to being combust, is squaring Saturn. Relatively closely. So I could see that about like being self-conscious and feeling uncomfortable and not safe.
Yeah, but me and Saturn cool though. I don't like when people be like doing a hate chain about Saturn. Saturn's pretty practical. I'm used to him. He been on my ass my whole life, so we got
No, I love Saturn too. I just mean like if Saturn's in your 11th house of fans and it's squaring, your personal moon that's in the eighth and it's not in a great condition, that could make you feel a little like not coming out. This is a moon that is invisible, literally invisible when it's a new moon. So I could see why there'd be a tension where like, do I become visible or not?
yeah. Because
I'm
then
pulling
you,
up like sorry.
what were you gonna say?
I pulled up
I
like
was
your solar return, and it looks like the moon or like the Lord of the Year is in the solar return 12th house and it's in the natal fourth house. So like once again, I wasn't really listening, but like it does make sense. Like the family thing is giving like hiding from family energy to me, or like trying to like isolate yourself from family or isolate yourself in like whatever like home base you're used to.
Hmm. Yeah. Definitely feel that. I thought that was like Aquarius energy too, because Aquarius is like always kind of like the outsider wherever they're at. They're really different from the people that they're from, and we kind of have to like find our tribe. It's kind of lame, but whatever. I guess they'll see me once I start like putting myself out there and whatnot.
Like your soul tribe.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, exactly that. But
Well,
what is
I mean, yeah,
Alice?
What?
Alice.
Yeah, what is college? Y'all said I always like I'm always like, yeah, Mars is on my MC. What does that mean? It's like exactly conjunct too, but I never pulled up like the asteroids or I don't know what that is, but
So
Pallas
yeah,
is an asteroid. Oh, you're.
oh no,
I'll
go
let you go
ahead. You
first.
can explain.
Oh, okay. It's not happening. So like Pallas is an asteroid. Like a lot of like I know like we don't really do this, but like a lot of like asteroid understandings can like be related to mythological understandings, which like we shouldn't like apply to the planets. But like in this sense, I'm going to. So Pallas is Athena in mythology, and like obviously it's the goddess of wisdom. She's also a goddess of war. Blah blah blah. So in the chart, it shows like what you're strategic towards, or like the things that you like hyper strategize in like your life or like your natal promise. But since she's
mm,
also the goddess of war, specifically good war, it shows that there's a lot of like tactics, because like obviously war tactics. There's a lot of, like not just like thinking and strategy. There's also like attack, like precision going on with it, because like you're preparing for battle in like this type of field.
Yes, and
mm.
Palace is also associated with games, right? Especially like contrived games with arbitrary rules. Palace is really good for that. Palace is also, they call it like the third eye asteroid. It's also like the most like it's like pattern recognition and things like that. So, it's very deliberate, right? So I really like Palace. You know, you will you're actually gonna have you may want to go back and look at the previous times Palace has activated areas in your chart and see what was going on around then to get a better idea of how works in your chart.
Mm.
And
Okay.
like a good thing about your palace placement in particular is that like if you look at like the asteroid mandala, which is like the planetary joys of the asteroids, your palace is exactly like in its joy.
That's good news.
I
I feel
have that
like
too. It's like my only like good placement.
twins.
Eh.
Oh my gosh. Do you have any thoughts about like that Venus, Mars, Uranus kind of situation? Because they're like all, I think they're all considered conjunct, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're all pretty clustered here. I mean, so um, Venus and Mars close together a lot of times gives like like I've seen it a lot with people that like dancing or like using their body in some kind of like creative way or use their body as like an outlet for their feelings and like like I find a lot of people that have Venus Mars conjunctions not all of them, but yours is pretty angular too. Although it's ruled by Saturn, so I could see there being some inhibition with it. It may be more in the realms of like ideas for you, right? It might be more like you exert it through like a I don't know though. I don't know. I do think though that Venus being retrograde here makes makes it a bit different because the conjunctions already happened and Venus is heading backwards now. So I could see it
Mm.
being like what you like is not it's like getting what you like it can be a challenge sometimes or it's like just like you're always shifting around, right? Never quite comfortable with Venusian type stuff because it's conjunct Uranus, it's sandwiched in between Uranus and Neptune, and then Mars is here. So it's like I would think that this would make Venusian stuff like comfort and pleasure and stuff like that a little bit more inaccessible. And like even when you are having a good time, like maybe sometimes you have to remind yourself, hey, I should be having fun.
Oh my gosh. Me literally on my last trip, I was like, well, not my last trip, but I was somewhere where I thought was like really pretty, but me and my friend were like fighting each other over something stupid. And then I was like, oh my God, like I'm on vacation right now and I'm mad. This is so weird. Like I'm weird for this. But I was like gaslighting myself. It only lasted for like an hour. I was cool.
Real.
But yeah.
High key, the way that I see it is, I see it as like you, like we are like talking about palaces. Like I see it as like you strategically building like certain connections that are going to help you with your goals. Because like Uranus rules manufacturing, and like it's in the 10th household sign wise. So I see like you building these things, but like it's also square to Saturn, which I don't know why the hell I'm like, thinking this. But like I feel like once you like forge the connections, like you're kind of like backtracking, like okay, I already did that. So it's like it doesn't really last that long.
So, hi, I because I couldn't see who had logged in, I didn't see that Kirah had joined us. Welcome, Kirah. How are you
Hi,
doing?
Kira.
Hey guys, I'm good. Sorry, so sorry for being late. It's been a whole day. It's been my moving day the past couple of days, so happy to be here.
Well, you're here now. I hope you haven't been here too long.
No, I've been hanging out. I grabbed all my materials to roll up, so I'm good.
Cool. Cool. So,
You
well,
can
do you
have
have
early
any
time.
thoughts about her chart?
Yeah, I was listening in. I mean, I came in when you were talking about wanting to just trying to figure out what you want to do and like the message that you're wanting to spread. And I only look at the chart from a whole sign perspective. So yeah, I'm looking at all that the 10th house stuff and your ninth house new moon. Um, and it's just very obvious to me that you're meant to be seen in some way, even if that's uncomfortable.
I
Um,
know. What kind of practical joke is that for the universe to play on me to be like, oh yeah, you're supposed to be doing this, but we're gonna make it super uncomfortable for you at first.
well,
But
the thing is that I hope this doesn't sound condescending, but you're still young. Like this is, it's might not feel as comfortable now, but I think especially as you move towards your Saturn return, and I know for a fact you get that Saturn station on your natal Saturn because that's where my moon is, and I know. Um, so it's definitely going to be a big part of your Saturn return. I also have a 12th house Saturn. So the Saturn return was a huge like turning point and getting over that hump of comfortability being seen.
yeah.
But yeah, I think you're well on your way. Also, in a couple years, the North Node is going to come to your Sun and Moon, and I think that's going to be a really special time for you too. As well as
I like
Jupiter
that.
moving into your third house next year. Like, there's going to be so much. You're going to feel a lot more inspired towards writing and yeah, I don't know. I just feel like you're on your way. It's just a weird time. Early 20s is or mid 20s is always a weird time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like once, because I mean, you'll have to go through the nodal reversal, right? Which you're going through now, right? Where the North Node's going through Pisces. That's like the pre-Saturn return, like run up. That's where it's like, okay, this is like a taste of shit getting real. This is like a taste of like what you're gonna have to sort out during your Saturn return, right? That's how I look at the nodal
Yeah.
opposition,
I
right?
always look at it as like the universe is like, hey, here's all your patterning. This is what you do. This is how things have been going. Do you want to keep doing this or do you want to switch it up? And that's kind of what the nodal return like offers up this opportunity to like follow a different path that is still like your fate, your destiny, what have you, but it's an opportunity to kind of like switch up your patterning.
Okay. So I should just like muscle through it because that's what I kind of want to do.
I mean, you're a
But
Venusian. I would say, ease into it.
that's a way
Let
better
it flow.
word. That's a way better word. Okay. I'm shocked y'all didn't have much to say about the Mars and Saturn situation because I think that's like the most how do you say it, like dominant placements in my chart. Like Mars
Mutual
is,
reception.
yeah, but like everything either answers to Mars or to the Saturn. And they're
Yeah.
just like once you follow all the placements back, they're just kind of like in this lock.
I feel like it's very evident in the way you talk. I don't know. You sound like a Mars Saturn person, even though you're very like you have this Venus chart ruler. You just like you have that kind of like toughness, that edge of a Mars Saturn type person. I mean, you are very Saturnian with all your your
Yeah.
Aquarius and Capricorn, but
What
yeah,
do
I
Mars
mean,
Saturn people sound like? That's interesting.
it's like, I mean, I consider myself someone who's like Mars Saturn because I have both Mars and Saturn in domicile and squaring each other. And it's like this, yeah, this like roughness, this edge, this like need for to like bump up against things, to experience challenge, which definitely contrasts with like, yeah, Venus as the chart ruler, but then you look at your Venus with Uranus and Mars. So it makes sense. It is a very big part of who you are. I feel like you can't look at your Venus without that Uranus and Mars.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Well, because there's also spirit and fortune both in Taurus, along with the ascendant. So, the retrograde Venus is kind of responsible for a lot, and she's I mean, I think this is something that's going to improve as you get older because, in your progress chart, Venus is not going to be in this condition really forever, and it'll mitigate somewhat as you go on, and you'll find a way deal with the energy better. But, because you talked before about like feeling like sometimes pleasure or ease is like feels inaccessible, or it feels like if you get it, then it's like inconsistent, or it's prone to like dropping out, or you'll have moments where you're just like, do I even want this? Like, why did I try and get this? So, um, but that should go away, or it should at least get better as you get older, I would say. But yeah, I agree that this Saturn and Mars are pretty prominent in your chart, especially with Mars being so close to an angle. I mean, honestly, I might consider moving just to get Mars off your midheaven in the astrocartography. I
I
don't know. What do you
literally
think?
live like on my Mars MC line too. Like it's directly like down the middle.
Can
So I
I?
was like,
Sorry,
you're good.
I just had to. Alex, you mentioned the progress chart, and I had to pull it up.
Oh, you pulled it up? Right.
Mars is at 0 Pisces, 0 degrees 2 minutes Pisces in the progress chart. So your Mars just entered way better condition.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and your progressed moon is about a month away from entering Capricorn. So your progressed lunar return is beginning, which is a big deal. That's kind of what leads you into you get the fourth house year and the nodal reversal and then the Saturn return. So it's a big time for you. But what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, Venus.
what
Your
that
Venus
mean
is
though?
at.
What that mean though? You telling me a lot of technical stuff.
Sorry,
I
sorry.
don't understand.
Sorry. It's exciting. Yeah, okay. In terms of your Mars shifting signs, I think that Mars, I mean, your Mars in Aquarius was nice in that it had this mutual reception with Saturn, so they were kind of working together and kind of holding each other accountable. But Mars is a lot more comfortable in Pisces. It's a water sign. Mars has some call it triplicity. It's comfortable in water signs, and I think that your ease of movement will be a lot different moving forward. I mean, it just shifted probably like within the past week. Um,
Oh.
but yeah, it's a let's see, Pisces is your 11th house natally. So yeah, I think the people that you're surrounding yourself with too, because Mars rules your seventh house, um, your seventh house cusp. So I would imagine your communities, the people you're surrounding yourself with, become a lot more important over the next couple of decades. And I mean, Saturn being there right now is already kind of emphasizing that for you, I think.
Okay, decades. Why did I think this changed like every couple of months or something?
No, progress charts is it's like long term.
Ooh-wee, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like Pisces energy. I feel like it's more dreamy, you
And
know.
also, I think it's really exciting. Your progressed moon is entering Capricorn soon because it's going to get out of your natal eighth house, and it is in detriment in Capricorn, but it does have it's a little bit more comfortable there than in Sagittarius. It's very hot and fiery there. So Yeah, there's a bit
Yeah.
of a cool down and like a grounding, I feel like, with Capricorn moon.
Okay.
And once you have like a, you know, like a new moon in your progressions, that'll be like a refresh. So you're just kind of in a waning part of a cycle, right? And getting ready to start something new, which will probably happen after, we have you go through this nodal reversal and start your Saturn return. So I don't know. I think just be patient with yourself, right? Like even if you feel like things don't make sense and like where am I going? Like I don't have a plan. Like I think if you keep trying and keep trying to figure it out, that and just be a little bit patient, that it'll become clear after this Saturn changes signs and goes into Aries in 2026. So I think that is the best thing to do, because this nodal reversal, the set of eclipses that are opposite your nodes, like that, it's always a tumultuous time in people's lives. Like you can count on it. So I mean,
Oh, did you already
if
talk
things
about
feel up in the
Pluto?
air,
Did you already mention Pluto on her ascendant lord too, like coming up?
no, I haven't. We have not talked about that. Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna happen
It's
over the same
transformation
period of
time.
time. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I would just strap in and have a good one. Try not to take things too seriously because it's gonna be wild. Right.
Yeah, you're just getting like wrecked by outers right now. I mean, maybe wrecked is a little harsh, but Uranus on your ascendant, Pluto coming
It's
to your
so
ascendant lord.
crazy. It's so
Yeah.
crazy that y'all are telling me to like, oh, just chill out and wait. Because I feel like I've been procrastinating this like whole thing for like 2 or 3 years, and you're like, yo, just chill out. I'm like, you're pacifying me. You're supposed to be like lighting a fire under me right now. I'm like,
I
chill.
think you'll
I mean, well, the
know.
thing is, like, it's not that you shouldn't try, right? Because I mean, you have this Saturn Mars thing in your chart. It's like, I don't know, like to most people, like running up against a wall, like is discouraging. But for you, you're just like, okay, I'm gonna use this as strength training, this wall, and then
Yeah.
eventually it's gonna come down, right?
Right.
So, your kind of stubborn determination to like break through stuff is I mean, it's good. I'm not saying to like give up and stop doing that. I mean, if that is working for you, I mean, maybe, don't be so hard on yourself when the immovable brick wall doesn't come down immediately, right? That could be that could be something to say,
I
right?
feel like the hardest thing for Saturn in Aries is patience, and
Yeah.
like also feeling like you're not doing it. Like the Saturn Mars is always like you're not doing enough. Do more. And Mars is your more difficult planet too. So that's the one that's like more, 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 more. You're not doing enough. You're not doing it fast
Literally
enough.
insatiable energy. But it's
Truly.
cool. What were you gonna say
So
about Pluto? I thought you were gonna talk about like low-key haters coming out of nowhere or something.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, like you're with the only way out is through when it comes to outer planet transits. Like you can't really you can't really mediate them. You can't really, yeah, remediate. I meant to say you can't really like appeal to the outers, in my opinion. You kind of just have to
yeah,
let them work you, and that's kind of what I mean by like this Pluto transit to your Venus, and your Venus is still retrograde in your progress chart. But yeah, letting Uranus work its way over your ascendant. My sun is right there on your descendant, so I'm also getting it too. I feel you. But yeah, just let these transits kind of work you, and just keep doing what you're doing in the meantime. But yeah, it's just 20. Are you 27 now? You're turning 27 at the end of this year. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll be turning
it's
yeah.
27 in December.
it's a big year. So you just kind of have to let the waves like rock you, rock you and roll you, and
Right.
enjoy 26 while it lasts.
Right. Because this year feels like it like flew by.
So I think we need to get to the next person. I think sorry to cut things off, but
No, you're good.
we could go all night on any chart. So, but thank you so much for coming on
Yeah, it
and
was good talking to
for
y'all.
sharing with us. It's really great.
All right. Have a good rest of your night, guys.
See you
Bye.
later. Hey Josh, how's it going?
I'm going. It's good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Here we go. I need to go back to sharing the screen. Also, it says there's 9 people watching, but I checked on Twitter and there's a lot more. So, hey everyone. I hope we're getting to everybody. We've got was there somebody else? I think there was someone else that was supposed to be on. I think they may have left. But yeah, Fire Witch, you had mentioned you were going to come on. So if you are still listening, we can read your chart after we go to Josh's. All right, so I need you to give me the information. What's your birthday?
6/28/99.
And the time?
4:56 p.m.
And the location?
Kogarah, New South Wales. Kogarah is Kogarah.
Kogarah.
Correct.
Do you have an accent? I can't tell.
And I don't. I'm born to 2 American parents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another Aquarius stellium. Wow. Wait, did you say no? Sorry.
I haven't pulled it up yet.
Yeah, it is.
Here we go.
No,
Can
it's
you guys
not.
see
Why
this?
does it look like that on mine? Oh wait, did you say June 26th?
28th.
28th.
June 28th, 1990. This is
Oh,
this is the right one.
I know why, because I'm in the progress chart. I'm like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
Okay.
So how are you doing? How's your day been going so far?
It's been good. I've been a little tired today, but I've been feeling really good. I've been getting back into work for myself, but then also for taking on another job within my industry for a friend. So that's been really fun and exciting to like do the thing for someone else and have it mirror back at myself and motivate myself in ways that I maybe wasn't before, because I struggle with self-motivating, even though it's my whole thing.
So, actually, I will just go ahead and say this, that there is for longtime listeners or viewers of the shows, this chart was actually featured in one of the quiz shows for Astrology Deathmatch, where it was a question about professional musician versus a professional dancer. This was the professional musician chart, and Josh is actually is a musician, has released some singles that have gotten you've had some songs that have gotten pretty big, like million plays on a few different platforms. So Josh plays music, and I mean, I think one of the biggest indicators of that in the chart, which I said at the show at the time, is this co-presence of like the node Mercury and Venus in Leo, and also I mean the moon Jupiter trine, right? It and like the moon is also trining this Venus here. I mean, it's this grand fire trine, is very expressive, and Mercury and Venus together is music. So at least in a lot of the Hellenistic texts. So I don't know. I really like Josh's chart because I feel like it's a good demonstration of principles that we read about in astrology. And Josh is very creative person. But I'm kind of cheating here because I know Josh, right? So does anyone else want to take a stab at the chart?
Do you?
I'm like,
do
I'm
you?
not.
Oh,
I'm not
sorry.
ready yet because like his chart's like my chart, and like you know how it's like hard to like read, like read for yourself.
Do you mean like by take a stab at the chart? You mean like
Oh, if
anything?
anything you guys want to say, right? I don't know. Well, Josh, do you have any questions?
Yeah. Do you have questions? I'm
Ah,
obsessed with the Moon Jupiter trine. I just can't stop looking at it.
I've been trying to kind of figure out what like timing looks like for. Like, I have a lot of things in mind of what I want to do going forward, and I want to start figuring out touring, and then I'm working on a film, and then like the release of all of that into next year. So I guess in some ways I'm like trying to figure out like when the right time to get back into that is, because I've been away from it for a little bit, and I also don't have a ton of like I have a ton of music connections, but when you're like going to make a film, that's a whole new thing, and I don't live in a like a highly creative place or like music industry place, so finding connections in that is been tricky. Seeking that out has been tricky to find like someone with the same vision as me or whatever. I guess it's not a direct question, but it's more like is there anything there for the future going from like now to summer of next year that looks good? Looks like it will help those goals and such?
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Are you like working right now outside of music?
Yeah.
What are you doing for work?
Amazon delivery.
Hell yeah. Okay. That makes sense with
Yeah.
your ascendant lord being in the third house right now. Yeah, because it oh god, you were born right at sunset, huh?
I guess
Is it
so.
a
And it was
day chart
a
or is it a night chart? I think it's a night chart personally, but I'm just you're I would say your moon's the sect light, just like growing full, applying to trine Jupiter is really lovely. And I feel like your
Yeah.
moon is a really important part of your chart. And with that, I'm looking at your seventh house because you have, your sun there on the descendant and the moon ruling the seventh. And next summer, because you mentioned next summer, Jupiter will be entering your seventh house. There'll be a nice little Jupiter Cazimi very close to your sun. That's when the Jupiter and the sun make an exact alignment. And we'll get some cute seventh house action. So yes, that could be really relationships. So I'm more wondering, to me, that's clicking like partnerships, whether it's a creative partnership, or someone that you, just like really collab with or vibe with really well. But that's like next year. I feel like right now you're just like working a lot.
I mean, that tracks. I feel like I'm doing a lot of groundwork, whether it's just financially because this shit's expensive, but like the groundwork of building up my finances and kind of figuring out a lot of personal life things too, trying to figure out if I want to move, if the timing is right for moving, as well as reminding myself like, oh, living at home, the trade-off of that is that I get to put all this money and time into the thing that I want to do forever.
Where are you
So
located now?
in the middle of Indiana, in the middle of nowhere.
Can you tell me a town just so I just want to see your relocated chart.
Audience, so I can't do that.
Is it like a
I could put it in the private chat. Can you see that?
Yeah. I just want to see what your relocated chart looks like there.
I put it in there.
Okay, cool.
Well, so Josh, in terms of dates, I mean, here's one I haven't told you yet. Like, there's that eclipse at 20 Leo, in 2026, right on your Venus. Here, let me pull up the transit. It's easier to display the transits on Astro.com.
For the record, Saturn and Taurus, subgeneration of Gen Z, is my absolute favorite. And I'm going to try to have a Saturn and Taurus child. My dad has Saturn and Taurus too, so I just love it. You guys are the chillest.
What does that indicate? Yeah, I don't know a ton about.
You guys are just like chill. I don't know. Like, I think you guys are most like millennials out of all of Gen Z because you have that like, yeah, that earth that kind of grounds you. Whereas like a lot of millennials have the Capricorn signature. Um, Gen Z doesn't have a lot of that earthiness. And so, yeah, you guys have that. And
That
I
makes sense
just
to me. I
love
feel like
it.
I relate a lot more to millennials than I do to Gen Z, and I grew up like watching a lot of millennials do like YouTube and stuff
Yeah.
like that, where I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like I'm with you on that. Whereas everyone's like, no, you're Gen Z, and I'm like, I don't know that I fully, because there's like younger Gen Z where I'm like, nope, don't
Yeah.
understand any of that culture.
Yeah, it's weird, but no, I feel like you guys have a bit of a slower pace than the rest of your generation. Yeah.
Alex, you were talking about 2026 something.
Yeah, though I mean, well, it's hitting your Venus, which, Venus here is like, I mean, it's fifth house and 10th house by whole sign. So I don't know. It is exact hit too, because it's like, what is the sun? It's like it's a 20 Leo, like
Wow.
basically spot on. So, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, if that's a transit to have like a song, get some attention, I feel like it's an eclipse right on your Venus, which is, creativity and expression like that. Like, and it's also how, because you'll be 27 by this point, so you'll be in 24, 25, Jupiter year.
I think
I
it'll be Mar.
mean,
Oh, yeah, that's
Jupiter
right.
will be in
Won't it
Leo,
be the sun?
right? Or
Won't it be a solar year?
is it solar
Oh
year?
no, sorry. I'm looking. Sorry,
20.
I'm looking at his relocated chart.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place.
Oh, okay. So 24, 25, 26, 27. Well, it'd be Mars. Actually, well, which is the it'll be Aries, which is the sign Jupiter contains. And Jupiter's in Leo during the eclipse. I don't know. I feel like it will be, and it's what?
This is 2026. You said?
6. Yeah. So it's a few years out.
One thing.
Oh,
One thing that I noticed,
sorry.
like in this, I casted his solar return chart because like I'm a solar return person, and he was talking about like going on tour and like all these other things. I'm not really processing, but like I saw that Mars was exact his Saturn this year in his solar return chart, and Mars rules the natal 11th house and also rules the solar return MC. And since that Saturn is the Lord of the Year this year, it would show that likely around September or October would be like a timing, since it's like his fifth house perfection month around that time, for him to be like ready to like start touring, start like I don't know what else you said, but like all those other things that you were talking about.
Can I ask another question about location just because I'm looking at your relocated chart?
Yeah.
So you're considering moving, and I know it probably isn't happening like soon, but you're considering it. Where are you considering?
I don't know.
Like
Which is
one
not
coast or
helpful.
another, or like yeah, you don't
No,
know.
because I mean, for the last couple of years, I've been trying to move, and there was like talk of me going to New York, and then talk of me going to LA, and I've been like pulled in a lot of directions from other people, but have never really settled on something. And it felt like, oh, it's going to reveal itself to me. Has kind of been my mentality, because you can live anywhere if you're going to be touring.
Okay.
So I
Well,
don't have a
I
spot
have
yet.
suggestions.
Go for it.
Both New York and LA are cool, but like where you're at right now is pretty close to your Saturn ascendant line. It makes you a Taurus rising. And I feel like that can, yeah, you can feel kind of trapped and stuck, I would imagine. But
Yeah.
I would imagine that you're working on quite a few, like you're able to work on your work, right?
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
you're able to like kind of tap into your creativity and focus. I like New York because it's still Taurus rising chart, but it's farther away from your Saturn line. it's 25 degrees Taurus rising. Your Saturn's at 13 degrees. And then it's your Mercury IC line. It's very close to your Mercury IC and your Neptune, exactly Neptune midheaven. So I think that could be really, really good for being on stage, meeting people, that type of thing. It's also your Juno descendant line, for what it's worth. You might be able to meet someone there. But LA is also really nice. I'm in LA right now, about to move back to New York this weekend.
Cool.
But it's closer to your moon midheaven line in Los Angeles. It's about 7 degrees away, but I like that too. It makes you a Pisces rising. It brings your third house to the forefront. I think that community might be more accessible to you there. The sun moves into your fifth house of creativity. I could see you, kind of doing either or, but
Could I add? I grew up moving a lot, not for anything military. It's like my mom worked for a corporation that had us moving all the time. So I was born in Australia. I lived in Belgium and the Czech Republic, and being on the move is really important to me. But I also want to eventually end up somewhere in Europe again because I loved it, and I'm not that I'm like sick of the U.S., but like I'd really love to be over there.
I'm trying to move there in the next year. I like that. Yeah, I always say people with mutable ICs, myself included, we deserve 2 homes, or we deserve to be. You can't just choose one. If your IC is an immutable sign, you need at least 2. So, yeah, I think that's going to be open to. How old are you now?
25.
Okay, yeah. 26 is going to, I think you won't move until 26, but I think you probably will move next summer or fall.
Cool.
What should we pull up? Here's the chart, the natal chart again.
I was going to say, I didn't really come in with a ton of questions, so if you want to ask me things, I can do that too.
Well, is there, I mean, I don't know. It's up to you. Usually we are the one answering the questions. Do you have, well, I mean, we could, there is going to be this Mars retrograde that's going to, I mean, it's not really activating anything. And what is you're 25 now, so it's a Aquarius year. That's Saturn.
Mars is gonna kind of station on that Mercury and go back and forth over that, but
yeah.
So if I'm looking into booking some shows, maybe like routing a proper tour, and I was mentally thinking a timeline of October. Bad, good.
What do you guys think? I don't like the Mars retrograde for touring, but it's not going to station until what, December?
Yeah, so it doesn't. Yeah, well, it's here we can.
I don't mind it for the yeah. I would do it only for like those first 2 months of the fall, because
sorry, go ahead. Because of the perfections, like he'll be in like a 5th house perfection month, and like it's rule like Mars is the 11th house ruler, so it makes sense to me to do it in October.
Yeah, I would agree doing it before it's the station and like wrapping up before the station.
Especially if it's short, yeah. Especially if it's like
the 5th house is the part of exaltation, since it's like the 11th house from the part of fortune. So like I feel like it's a good time, like focusing on that.
Yeah.
You said there was a day that something stations. When does that happen?
Oh yeah, Mars is going to go retrograde. I think it's December 6th or something like that. And I think around then you're probably going to feel the pull to slow down, because Mars is pretty important in your chart, especially it's so high up, and it's going to be squaring that Mars. Mars will be in Cancer for a good chunk of this retrograde, just in that square with your natal Mars, which isn't like terrible, but It's
Could just
yeah,
be
it
like
can
being
be
burnt out after the tour. That's what that could be,
exactly. Yeah,
right?
I think I would like plan on December, January, February, like chill,
Hmm. That's
recoup.
that's fair. And then I'm also thinking in my head like, oh, those months are supposed to be like real big, like editing and planning months for an album release, which
Well, it can
sounds
be good. It's good for that. It's good for editing. It's good for plan. Like Mars retrogrades are really good for that, but it's
Yeah.
not good for like the external, like
or like
forward moving
doing.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Mars retrograde would be good for like going back over previous actions and like fixing shortcomings or altering things, right?
Gotcha.
I think it
It's
also makes
really
extra
good
sense.
for like strategy.
Like it makes extra sense since that Mercury rules the 10th house, which would be like profession and career, and then Mars rules the 11th house. So like really backtracking on like your career goals, like what you already published in a career sense.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Cool.
And we'll have a Mercury retrograde in the spring. Well, we'll have one in December too, I think. Yeah, and then we'll have another one. We go from Mars retrograde to Venus retrograde to Mercury retrograde from December through April. So just know that those 4 months we're going to be. It's not like forward moving time. It's like
Hmm.
planning, editing, all that stuff.
Gotcha. Patience, time.
Do you know
Yeah.
like what degree Mars is going to station retrograde at?
6 degrees, I believe.
Oh, okay. I'm like looking at
Leo.
like the square to Juno, and I was like, if it's like in orb.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you mentioned at the very beginning of the call that you have problems with like you said motivation.
Yeah. I run my own business. I am my own manager, all these things, but it's hard for me. It's hard for me to get out of the like, what if I come across this way brain and just do all the cool things in my head?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's Mars problems. That is like the number one issue I see with Mars and Libra. It's like, yeah, this difficulty with motivation. Mars is all about that motivation when it's in Venus's sign. Venus wants to chill and relax. Venus wants to play and make art, right? Venus is like, let's just get into the groove, smoke a little pot, and get into the mindset. What's the rush? And so Mars is kind of being directed by that Venus and having a hard time with that like self-motivation.
Yeah, as I had mentioned too at the beginning, the thing that's been motivating is I've done a lot of work for myself and been like, oh, I've offered up things that I could write with other people, whatever. Nothing's really kind of come back. And I was thinking about it today that what has come back is that a friend of mine who is also a professional musician needed help putting together vinyl manufacturing. And so I'm like, I have so much knowledge about this. And so that's become like a very natural business partnership where I have something to offer someone else in my industry and they want it in a way I hadn't experienced before. And it's been kind of very motivating to watch how she works and how she treats her business and how quick she is without overthinking things. And then that has reflected in me being motivated to do better and just kind of act like that, if not for me, but for someone else, and knowing that like, you can work your business like this. You're not overthinking it too hard. You can just do it and kind of ride on that.
I feel like more of that's coming with Mars coming into your 7th and squaring your natal Mars, and then Jupiter coming in next year. Yeah, I feel like your interpersonal relationships are just becoming more and more important for your life and your career.
I mean, that makes sense. I had a goal. I do a lot of journaling. I had a goal before going into the summer that I'd get to see my friends on a more regular basis, and I would hope that me putting in some of that energy and putting out the communication that I want to do more things with people would kind of come back to me, and it has in a really big way. Where I went from 2 months ago feeling like I'm not seeing people very often to now being like, oh no, shit's like lined up, and I have people to turn to.
The ruler of your 11th house of friends is going to be in your 7th house of one-on-one relationships for like the next 6 months. So get used to it. Get used to it.
Honestly, great.
Also, when Jupiter enters Cancer in the seventh house, that's the third house ruler, like the third whole sign house ruler. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was like more business connections regarding like music, media, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Cool.
and
Like, even like moving.
Jupiter,
People have
yeah,
to move.
Jupiter in the seventh house is always awesome, right? It's always great. I mean, unless your Jupiter's really in bad shape, and I mean,
Mine is, and it was still great.
yeah, all right, so great. Yeah, that's a lot to look forward to, and that's going to be 2025,
Okay,
right?
cool.
Jupiter will be in your seventh house through 2025 for through most of it. Um, I think maybe the first couple of months it won't be in there yet, but whatever. Um, yeah, it'll be great.
Cool.
You know, it's always a big expansion in your relationship realms, like not just romantic, but like finding a new group of people or finding a new um you know, just networking a lot, like or yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
It
It's a
was, I
lot of
remember
fun
it was
making new
very much
friends.
that for me. Like lots of, I had started a new job at like this huge ad agency, and there was like 1,000 people in our office, and it was like everyone was hot and young and like from all over like all over the world. And I just like my network. I have Jupiter in the seventh house as well, so it was my Jupiter return. But I remember, yeah, just my network expanding a lot. So that's something to definitely look forward to.
Cool.
Alberto, did you have anything? We haven't heard from you for a minute. Did you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, this is all great. I was just going to say, traditional name for the eighth house is the idle place, you know, because it's one of the dark houses. So I'm wondering if that could be adding to the indecision, kind of lack, or what did you call it, motivation?
Yeah,
That
lack
the
of
Venus,
lack of like self motivation.
yeah, that the Venus could be a little too comfortable with her edibles, you know, to actually get and do too much.
I have Venus in the eighth, and I'm just like, are you calling me out right now?
It's all love. It's all love.
Oh, oh, there we go. I was gone for a second.
Yeah, especially that Venus ruling that Mars, that like idle Venus being like just basking the last bits of sunlight.
One thing I'm curious about, which I won't be able to answer until it happens, is Jupiter in Cancer towards like the latter degrees, because it's going to be on Ceres, and like Ceres is good, but like it has like themes of once again grief, but it's also going to be square like the natal Jupiter and the natal Mars at the same time. So I'm kind of curious as to how that shows up. But also, while it's going to be square those two things, it's going to be trine Chiron and Juno at the same time. So I feel like there are going to be like good connections and good business deals, blah blah blah. But like, there's going to be something that's going to be taken away because of those deals. Like for
But
example,
before, oh, sorry, go ahead.
like if you're like working, like you got like contracted to like do like so much at one time, you don't have time for like all these other things that you want to do.
I was just gonna say before we get that, we get Jupiter sextiling natal Jupiter and trining that Mars a year prior. So it's gonna be interesting. Like next, I think May, it's gonna get into that sextile before it enters um, Cancer in early June. And then a year later, it's gonna square those. So there's definitely gonna be something that connects those two events. That's interesting
Girl
to think
feelings,
about.
I feel like girl feelings wise, I feel like it's like you get like a business deal or something, and like you want to move somewhere, but like you can't move there because like you like have like this job somewhere else, and like I say that because
Mm.
like because Jupiter is in the fourth house, then Mars rules the fourth house.
Yeah, and well, Saturn will be in the fourth house by next spring too.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be very interesting. I mean,
I feel
I
like it's
love that
gonna be
it's gonna
fun.
trine. It's gonna trine that Mercury though, which can be cute. It's a ruler of the midheaven, so I think you will be moving for work. Yeah,
I mean, that would be great. I've always hoped the me not pays off in like okay, there's a reason to go. Work is doing well enough that it makes sense to go. Whatever that is.
you're so Saturnian.
I don't know what that means.
Especially for like a 25-year-old, just to be like, yeah, there's a reason to take this time. Like it's like, yeah, you have this innate understanding and respect for time that I think that again, this isn't me shitting on Gen Z, but especially the oldest Gen Z have Saturn in Aries, and there's this impatience with time.
Mm.
And I find that, the Saturn and Taurus, you guys have a little bit more of.
Well,
Sorry,
the
Mansa said shade.
that rings true for me. Like the record I've been working on, I started when I was a freshman in high school, and it's like the record's done. I just have been so particular about how it's going to come out and like being true to the art, but there's been no level of like, let's rush to get it out, because I want to make sure it's going to come out like perfectly for the vision.
But you have to remember, as a night chart, that Saturn can also trip you up and make you wait too long. It can stagnate you. So just remember that too. You don't really have
Gotcha.
Mars to kind of help kick you into gear.
Yeah, Kira, I've told Josh, I've told him that to just put stuff out even if it's not perfect, but I don't know. Doesn't seem to be Josh's style. You don't
It's
you
way
don't really
easier
like to
said
do
than
that.
done.
Well, because
Yeah.
when I've done it, it's bitten me in the ass so many times, because if you just like do that, or in my experience, when I've just done that, then it's like, well, you've missed out on all these possible avenues of opportunity because you didn't consider the possible avenues of opportunity in like being a little bit more prepared. Like music should be an example, is that a lot of our distributors say like, turn in your single 6 weeks before it's out, which is a long time. But you get more of an opportunity to get in front of more people that way, or get more ears on it that way. And it's harder for me to do that, but I'm like trying to be patient enough to not just jump and release, because I've done that and it's not paid me off in the same way as I'd hoped it would.
I'm noticing that Saturn's like exactly square the nodes, and like it's in the 5th house, so like it does like add a sense of like indecision towards releasing music stuff. And I feel like if I had this personally, like I would like just do it, because like I wouldn't do it otherwise. If I couldn't just like, I need like lock in and just like impulsively just like release the shit, because I won't do it any other way.
That's
but like
really
I'm like a
tough.
Saturn in Cancer, so like I don't know.
Well, it's interesting too, because he has the Jupiter in Aries right there too, which is like, let's get it out now and let's put as much out as possible. So I could see there's a struggle there.
Well,
Yeah.
Josh has done this thing where they'll just write a new song and release that as a single, even though there's like years of
batch of work.
backlog of like other songs that are waiting to come out. They'll just write a new song and put that out instead.
which is the next thing that's happening. So I love that. Yeah. I'll drop standalone singles in where I'm like, well, I've waited so long on this batch of work that has nothing to do with my life now, but this thing that happened in life has happened and it's relevant. So let's drop these standalone singles in the spaces where I'm not marketing like the big bodies of work.
Honestly, I keep coming back to the fact that Venus is that benefic effect, and I'm thinking, okay, when's the next big Venus transit or activation? And we have that Venus retrograde that starts in Aries and ends in Pisces with Saturn, your ascendant lord, on the North Node. And I feel like by next spring, you're just going to be like, I know what I'm doing. I know the path. This is the direction. I need to move here. And it's just like that annoying limbo period until then. And it's like Saturn's like, whatever, just put your head down and work. We'll get there.
That Venus station conjunct Saturn, Kirah, that you just mentioned, squares the moon of this chart, right? And it's also in the 4th house of this chart. So, because we've been talking about moving, I mean, and isn't that around the time you said? Because that happens in the spring of 2025. That's a little bit before. Maybe there's like,
I feel like that's like the decision. That's like, I know what I'm doing. Like the planets go direct and it's like, okay, we have a plan now.
I feel like since the Venus is L10, like whole sign house-wise, and then the moon is L7 whole sign house-wise, it shows like a conflict between like like what you aspire to do and like what you actually have like the resources or like the connections to do at that time. And it's like you like
Mhm.
backtracking and trying to like refine or like reconstitute like the connections that you have made so far in a way where you can actively like go after what you want in the right way.
I'm getting a sense that there might be a sense of like you move and there is a disconnect from community that you've built in some way. And even if it's not like in a bad way, it's like I feel like because Saturn's going to square your moon, all next spring and for a good chunk of next year, to be honest. And it's not an easy transit, and the moon as your seventh house lord, it could just kind of represent like some forced distance or yeah, not being able to connect and with others in as easy as way as you think or as you might want. And that's sometimes just like a symptom of moving to a new place and
Sure.
being like, I gotta, meet new people.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just kind of expecting there to be potentially some like feelings of isolation and like aloneness.
Hmm.
But I mean, I think a good note to end it on is the fact that Josh, your son has progressed into Leo, right? Just recently, actually, probably a few weeks ago. So, your sun changing signs in your progress chart can be um, it's like a new chapter, right? Like you have like a different energy. Leo's going to be a lot more outgoing and less moody than Cancer, right? And Leo is going to have more of a social aspect to it. So, it's good for getting out there and putting yourself out there, I think. I think you may find that situations that may have felt overwhelming as a Cancer aren't as challenging as a Leo.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I
And a
also like
Cool.
progressed sun. Oh, sorry, go
I
ahead.
also like it as conjunct Ceres, and like the sun being the eighth house ruler shows a nurturing towards like what you're actively like investing in, like life wise, because like investments like towards like your energy, your effort, your money. So like you're actually like nurturing these things that you want to like put out into the world, which seems to be the music that you aren't putting out into the world for some reason.
Okay.
You're also in the progress lunar return, which is like the years leading up to 27, 28. I think it usually goes exact like a week or like a month before you turn 28. But yeah, you're in that phase as well. And I think that also kind of speaks to the just kind of the behind the scenes isolated parts of your journey, but also the progress lunar return is I feel like this sort of microcosm of the Saturn return in ways in that it's has a lot to do with how you take care of yourself, how you nurture yourself, like how you feed yourself, what you need to like, yeah, just like take care of the physical.
Hmm.
And yeah, just kind of I think as a 12th house moon especially, you do need isolation, which you probably already know that about yourself. But I think there's this necessity to like have freedom and freedom of thought and be able to kind of like tap out.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
really important to you as well. And I think travel is probably a really important part of that too. So
Yeah.
I I would encourage you to like try to get some travel in and some solo travel in and over the next 2 years. And yeah, there's just a lot of like internal soul searching with that.
Cool. Cool.
Oh, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
having me.
I think we
Have
got
a good one.
one. Yeah, see you later.
Thanks, Josh.
So we got one more chart that we got one more caller.
Oh, hello.
Hi. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. It's a bit late here. I mean, so late it's practically early because it's like 4 a.m. right now here.
Oh, well, thanks for joining us. I mean, yeah. I mean, I like staying up late. I don't blame
Yeah,
you.
me too. But like, it's kind of like so. I hate going to sleep like what in the in the morning, and then I have to wake up at like 7 p.m. It's like such a bad feeling.
I feel
I went to
you.
sleep at 7:30 today.
I went to sleep at 9 a.m. today, so I feel you.
No, it's like the worst. Like, I just cannot. I don't. I cannot do anything when I have this kind of disjointed rhythm. You know.
It's like I'm very Saturnian, and I was like, if I'm gonna be up, I'm gonna be like doing stuff. I need to be like productive. But then I was like, I should also like try to sleep. I had like it kept me up, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's hard. Well, you don't have to do much thinking. We'll do the thinking for you.
All right. Yeah, let's get into the chart.
I put the location of my birth in the private chat, by the way, private window. Because I'm not American or like English from English speaking world, you know.
Mm. Okay, what's your birthday?
September 26th, 1994.
Time?
9:25 a.m.
I love 1994.
Yeah, that's the best year.
My sister was born that year, so
was like from 95, I think.
95 is
she's
scary.
a total Scorpio generation.
Yeah, Jupiter and Scorpio. That's why I love it. And the North Node and Pluto and
Okay. Is this
love you
your
guys.
correct chart?
Let me see. I should
8
have.
degrees Scorpio rising.
Yeah, it's not in. It's Placidus. I usually use wall sign houses.
Do you guys want to switch to whole sign? Does anyone want Placidus except me? I will switch it if you guys don't want it.
I don't care. I'm looking on mine.
No, I'm fine. I used to do with Placidus, but I'm usually like more into wall sign houses. So like that.
Can I ask you a question while Alex is loading that up? How do you? Yeah, do you ever think about like your Juno on the ascendant?
I don't know anything about those
the asteroids.
Those asteroids, only Chiron, you know.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm sure Quentin has stuff to say about it too. I love people who have Juno on the ascendant because I always look at that as like, oh, you're committed to yourself. Like you have a committed relationship with yourself. And usually those people I find like you do not settle. You're like, I'm fine being single because unless it's like the one, like I'm good.
You know what? I have been single for my whole life, and I've been kind of dying to be in a relationship.
Yeah, that's what I think when I think
nobody fits my standards, you know. So like,
yeah, it's like you gotta find someone to match your freak. My sister has this too. That's why my sister's also been single her whole life, and she's born the same year, so and she also has the same thing. So that's why I was wondering.
Like Juno in the first house is like opposite its mandala placement, so it's like kind of like a debility because like the emphasis of like relationship is so important, and like usually Vesta does good in the first house because like it's a it's about devotion, it's like devotion towards the self, not towards like relationships. But like also makes sense like why you would be so picky because like Juno is like the energy of like I am in this relationship, but like this man is like not meeting my standards, so I'm gonna kill like his like cheating whores.
Wait, Quentin, real quick, does that mean Vesta is like in debility in the 7th?
Yeah.
Okay, I have that. I have Hesta and Vestia. Sorry, Hesta and Vesta. Hestia and Vesta conjunct my ascendant lord on the descendant.
I have it in my 6th house, and it's almost in my 7th house, but not exactly.
I'm like, that tracks, yeah. Okay, sorry. Back to John's. Yeah, so okay, so have you can we talk about relationships a little bit?
We can, of course.
Or do you have other questions you had other things you have questions about.
I have some questions, but let's just put whatever you have on mind right now out of the way,
I was just gonna ask, like, have you been dating, or is it more of a thing where it's just like you don't have a lot of people around you? Like, what's
And
your
not a lot
history
of
been
people
like?
around me
Okay, yeah,
about that kind of thing.
gotcha. And is moving something that's like you've thought about or on the table for you at all?
Yeah, I actually, because like this kind of is connected to the other question I had. I wanted to move out to Warsaw because I'm currently based around the area of my city, birth city, at Warsaw, to study either Indian studies or classical philology. And I got into those 2 degrees, but I decided not to move because it would be so much expensive. And besides, I have a disability, so I don't really know how could I like provide for myself back in there. So like, I think I could try with like some kind of scholarships, maybe, or help from what's the name of the social welfare centers or something. Well, like, I don't know if I want to do all that hassle to do that, to be honest with you.
It might be
So,
worth
like,
it with Jupiter in your 8th house over the next year.
is that bad or not?
I mean, that could be good for receiving money from others, like the
Oh,
scholarship.
okay.
Yeah,
And
could
then
be
like
worth
when it
applying for some.
enters Cancer, it'll be on the part of fortune, which has to do with obviously money.
At the end of 2025, there's going to be this really lovely grand trine between Jupiter and Cancer at 25 degrees, the Sun in Scorpio at 26 degrees. I know it's on my solar return. Um, and then Saturn at 25 degrees Pisces. So there's going to be a really nice grand trine with your Mars, your ascendant Lord. In those water signs at the end of next year too, which I'm like, that's something to think about in terms of like, things just kind of like shifting into place more with this 9th house stuff.
Something shifted. She's about to get real weird.
Well, yeah, we'll see with Mars retrograde first.
Yeah.
We'll see what that happens.
One fun thing that I did in my head, but I'm not sure if I did it right, is I calculated the part of marriage when we started talking about relationships, and I'm like don't quote me. I would test it yourself. But like I think that it's at like I want to say like around like 8 degrees of Pisces. So like that would mean that its ruler is in the first house, even like emphasizing like even more like Jupiter marriage, Venus relationships, Juno partnerships. Like it's a very important topic towards identity for some reason. And then Jupiter being in Gemini right now in detriment, showing that like even though like it is important, it's not necessarily happening.
You're so brave for even attempting to calculate a part in your head. I don't care if you got it wrong. I don't care if you got it wrong. That's insane. That's
But like, is marriage
amazing.
important to you? Like, question, like, right?
Relationships are not important to me. What do you mean that?
Like, is marriage like a topic that you like think about often, or like?
Well,
envision?
I don't really care about being married. I just want to find someone who matches my freak.
You are
Yes.
so real. Yeah, I'm like I feel that not exactly, but like I'm a 10th houser with an empty 7th house, and it's like I'd rather be alone than be unsuccessful. So like, I get it to an extent.
I'm a 7th houser and a 10th houser, so I need both.
I'm like,
But
I'm a Cancer. Like, I don't feel like in my house, like ruining my energy, like touching my food and like
Yeah.
breathing my air.
we just need a castle with 2 separate wings. That's all.
Because like I'm a Deacon 2 Cancer too, so like.
No, but I feel like okay, coming back to this
Real.
1st house, 7th house, 1st house, 9th house thing. I am curious about like where you meet this person. Because I feel like if we're looking at your 7th house ruler, that Venus in the 1st, I always think of that as like they're different. They're different, but they're like you in some way, in the sense that they might be someone that is it of a different culture than you, of a different race than you. It might be someone that's in Poland that's from, somewhere in Asia or somewhere in America even,
I know
It's
what you're talking about because sorry if I interrupt.
no, go ahead.
Because I also sometimes do Vedic astrology, and I've got some placements. I think that's the K2 in the 7th house and the Saturn in 5th house too, I think, but I'm not exactly sure. But K2 in 7th house kind of like hints on a spouse from different culture, for example, or from a distant land, for example, that kind of thing.
One thing that I have like solidifying that is that I calculate a lot of marriage partner this time, and it should be in Taurus, and that'll be ruled by Venus, which would be conjunct Jupiter. So it does make sense for it to be like a foreign person type thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just feel like going to school is I feel like this winter when Mars is back in Cancer and doing its retrograde, like you should start applying for scholarships and like or just start looking into
Yeah,
stuff
I mean,
again.
I have applied for a university in my city, so like I'm
Cool.
trying to.
Yeah,
Uh,
I just feel like that's a setting you need to be in. Your ascendant lord's in the ninth house. You just like
Yeah.
need to be around those type of people.
yeah, I know, because like a lot of the time, whenever I look at my chart, I'm seeing kind of a lot of learning from that ninth house. I think that is ninth house.
Mm-hmm.
Mars. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
like the Mars being the ruler of my chart, and also it being in the ninth house, so like a lot of this learning and stuff might come from like exploring different things.
Did you mention what your study is? Like what you're interested in studying?
Uh, I wanted to study either Indology because of that connection to Vedic astrology, or classical philology because I
Right.
had this dumb idea to like translate Hellenistic texts into Polish.
That's not a dumb idea at all.
I love it.
Yeah, that works. That works with that moon especially.
One thing that I'm like looking at is perfections because like I'm a perfection person, and like next year is a 7th house perfection, and like that's gonna be ruled by a Scorpio, like a Venus in Scorpio, but it's also like where the natal like marriage partner is. So like I feel like because like you did like reiterate that like you do have health issues. Like for example, if you do move, which like the 7th house is conductive of, like you might have difficulty like once you're there. But like I feel still like it'll be like an auspicious time for you to like make connections and partners and all those other types of things. Just like an inherent difficulty within like living situations, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because I have a lot of friends in Warsaw. So, and like whenever I go to Warsaw to like, because I'm also a musician, when I kind of play with my friends on a gig or something, they were saying, "Oh, you should move to us. We should move to Warsaw." And I'm like, I don't have money. I don't know how to do this, but like, yeah, maybe if it doesn't work out now, maybe I will try next year. But
I'm
like,
hoping that Jupiter blesses you a little bit because I think it's and I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way, but oftentimes when people are ruled by a planet that is in fall, oftentimes you have like lower expectations for things, just because it's like you're looking at life from this like down up perspective and you're like, I'm used to, things not working out in XYZ ways, but I'm hoping Jupiter comes in like to your moon and into your Mars and trines all your stuff and gives you a lot of optimism and hope for all this stuff because
yeah,
I
this
think there's
libertarian
security.
optimism is kind of like a very foreign thing to me.
Yeah, well, Jupiter and Cancer will hopefully gas you up a little bit. But Jupiter to
Yeah.
your moon should help too. It should help kind of lessen the blow of that Saturn return, Saturn square situation you have.
Yeah, I'm going through it right now, really.
Yeah.
But I
And I
mean,
think the
also,
Saturn is in retrograde too, I think, if I remember correctly.
your Saturn is retrograde, yes. It's
I feel like
actually what is it? It's yeah, it's kind of, it's not gonna station yet. It's still a little bit, it's in that kind of evening star phase.
Yeah, I think it stations in like November
Yeah.
at 12 degrees.
Yep.
High key, like
Um
looking at house rulers, since the Jupiter is going to be on the moon, and the moon is the ninth house ruler, and you talked about being a musician, and I forgot where I was going with this, but like, oh wait, Jupiter ruling the fifth house makes sense for like you moving for music or art or like industry type things. But I think Jupiter's going to retrograde because like it is on my chart ruler, so like I'm paying attention to it. So like I think it's going to retrograde. It's gonna retrograde, and like I feel like you might be like, because like for example, like right now you're like, oh, like yeah, like I said, like actually, like maybe I should move to Warsaw, blah blah blah, but like something's gonna happen where you're like, oh, this is like a backtracking on like me actively trying to move towards this place, and then like this entire thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like I always kind of I forgot the word. Self-sabotage.
That makes sense for like the 12th house ruler in the first house.
Yeah, and the first house ruler in fall. Yeah, it, like as malefic out of sect. It happens. It happens. I also have Mars in the ninth. That's malefic out of sect, and yeah, it can be tough.
Alberto, did you have anything you wanted to add here? We haven't heard from you.
Yeah, just from the fixed star department, his Mars is on Procyon, which is the little dog, and that can indicate hunger for material goods, for what that's worth.
I have a question
what
for
you're
Alberto.
What's
Alberto, how do you feel
I know
about
what you're talking about.
Fixed stars. Oh, well, sorry. So there's obviously there's tons of stars out there, but there's a shorter number that have been used by astrologers that their meanings are usually based on the constellations that they're in, and they have historical stories around them, and they even have been assigned flavors of different planets. So like here's a Jupiter Venus star, here's a Mars Saturn star. So when it's significant if you have a chart point actually on the same degree as a fixed star, and so you have your Mars is on Procyon, which is a little dog. It's a Canis Minor, and basically Procyon announces. He's also called the announcer because he's bright, but he's not as bright as Sirius. But he comes up first, and he announces the arrival of the Beyonce that's coming in, which is Sirius. And so, yeah, I mean, I can go into greater detail, but basically, there's a sense of animalistic hunger, like in the way that a dog goes up to its dinner and eats it without thinking twice. Or my dog will eat several dinners. So I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just saying that's what the delineation is for that.
I love that because there's like a lot of Scorpio, Alice and the Decans are often categorized around hunger as well. So I love that connection is really interesting.
Yeah, Cancer, being at home, eating pies, eating ice cream,
Alberto, I have a question.
Yeah, so that's because I am fat,
No.
No.
It is the Jupiter Decan of Cancer, though, I believe.
Yeah. How would you
That's where my
delineate
part
like,
of
the
person
ninth house
is.
cusp on Sirius, if at all?
That's a good question. I don't think people usually talk about cusps and fixed stars. I think they need to be, ascendant angles, yes, but not cusps. But it's a great question.
I want to peep your solar return.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean to do that. Oh wait, no, I did it in my head.
You would.
I'll put up the progressions.
So this solar return is a Scorpio rising. The upcoming one at the end of this year, or I guess it's only next month. Oh my God. It's in less than 2 months. It's a 0 degrees Aquarius rising, with Moon Mars conjunction in Cancer in the 6th house. And then
And
there's the
Mars,
Sun in the 9th. Yeah.
it's like, isn't Mars like the ruler of the year too? Because it's a sixth house year.
Is it? Yeah, I guess so. I wasn't even looking at the perfections. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Right now it is. And then next year, okay, yeah, that's right. You were saying that. It'll be Venus. So Venus is at the top of the chart for 30. It's in the 10th house and in Scorpio. So you get a cute little Venus return as well. Huh. Interesting chart. Yeah. I think you will be like moving with the 4th house coming to the ascendant.
I feel like it really emphasizes the sixth house because, like you said, the Mars was in the sixth house, and like it's in a sixth house perfection at the same time.
Well, this will be at the beginning of the Venus perfection.
Oh, so next year, okay.
Yeah, this is in 2 months.
When, like,
I know. I was like,
the male partner is like, look at.
I know. In my head, I was like, I was mixed up too. But yeah, this will be the Venus perfection, the 7th house year. Yeah. What do you do for work right now?
I live with my parents and I have got disability pension.
Oh, that's right. You said that. You don't have to tell me about your disability, but is it something that you're like actively still seeking treatment for, or like is
I have to be constantly on meds, you know.
Okay. Yeah, because I wonder if that's with this, if there's just like a greater focus on like your body, your health, your healing next year as well. By next year, I mean 30
It's
or 30th year. Yeah, because it'll be activating that first house Venus, and this has the 6th house signature in the solar return chart. So I would imagine, yeah, there's this more of like a focus. But the fact that the moon is there, I think, is really helpful because it shows that there are resources. Mars there to me shows that there might be there's a lot of things that you actively have to work on, but the moon shows that like there are solutions, there's resources to work on them with.
Also, in that solar return, the ascendant is going to be exactly opposite the natal Ceres, so it really does emphasize like need like nurture and care for yourself during that time or during that year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, I see like Vesta on Chiron, which like shows like a devotional towards like medical issues or medical things.
I mean, Jupiter is going to go through your 9th house in mid 2025. It's going to start. So, you'll have, and it's a 7th house perfection year next year. Then it will be 8th, won't it, by that point, by next fall. So it's Mercury in the 12th. I don't know. I mean, I would think about, I don't know if you're going to, a school could be an option with Jupiter in the 9th, but I don't know. It seems like there's going to be like an obstacle to get there, right? Because like this Mars retrograde that's happening will probably be, I don't know. I feel like you will probably wrestle with the decision because it's clearly if it's on your mind enough to call into the show about it, then I think it's, likely to be an important theme. And so, I think maybe next year you'll have some clarity on it, especially once we're through that Mars retrograde about, because I don't think you're going to be able to kind of see a viable pathway for it until then. And Mars is going to station direct close to your lot of fortune. It's going to be like trining all that stuff in your first house. So it could be a motivating factor. I don't know. It's not really afflicting anything in your chart, really. I mean, it's square to Mercury, but that's by like 15 degrees. So, but you're in a 7th house year, you're in a Venus year, and Mars is your ascendant ruler. So I feel like it's definitely going to. Yeah, and that when that direct station is in February, at the end of February, like February 24th, I believe. So I would think you would have clarity on this like internal struggle about whether or not to move, or probably around then you'll know what you have to do. But whether or not you're going to actually go for it, I mean, that would depend on, we'd have to look at other things, right, guys? You agree?
Yeah, you pulled up the progress chart. I just noticed that the
Yeah,
progress
let
moon
me
is also in
go back
Cancer. It's
to
like halfway through Cancer. And so that also to me just emphasizes like there's this it emphasizes all the moon stuff to me, and the ninth house, but also the sixth house stuff in terms of the Mars return. Again, Mars is the malefic out of sect that also will speak to disability. And I feel like the Mars return is this emphasizing of like let's focus on this, let's work on this. I think that's like almost as key to being able to work out everything else when it comes to, not to say that it's like you fix it and then it's over, but it seems like that might be the limiting factor, is the health stuff.
Another thing that I noticed is I keep on calculating parts. I did the part of illness this time, but like I'm not sure if it's right once again. And I think it's conjunct the lot of fortune and the chart ruler at the same time. So that like Mars stationing is going to be on like the lot of illness. So it's like it adds like a level of nuance towards like the disability journey and like the traveling journey in tandem with it.
So it's right here, you're saying? Right around
Yeah, it's
19
around
degrees
there.
Cancer?
Somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like in the
Yeah.
sun.
The upside to the Mars retrograde is that while it's transiting retrograde, it's not really in any difficult aspects. It will oppose Pluto at the beginning, and then when it finishes shadow. But besides that, it's just kind of trining Saturn. So again, I think the fact that your progressed moon is in Cancer for the next year and a half or year or so, yeah, I feel like there's resources there. It's just like the time to focus in on it.
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome. Good luck with everything. I want you to get to school and meet your boo.
Mikey, I want updates on every single thing that we've talked about.
I know.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks so much for calling in. It's great to read your chart.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, get to sleep.
Yeah. If I don't forget.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, I think we've got one more caller we got time for. Hello? Who's this?
Yo. What's up? It's Dersh.
Dersh? Who are you?
Did you guys rush?
What?
Did you guys rush? You guys
Rush?
seem like GDI.
Like
I'll give you a little bit of background. Most people on campus know who I am, but my name is Max. It's Max Dershowitz. Most people call me the Dersh or Dersh. I'm kind of like, you've heard of SIGEP. I'm a SIGEP.
Have I?
Yeah.
I've been out of college for 10 years.
Oh, you guys look young as fuck. Yeah, you guys
Well,
look
Quentin is he's in college.
I am.
Oh shit, nice dude. Hell yeah. So I'm sorry, dude. I'm a little slow today. I've like ripped 4 beer bongs.
Real?
But I'm gonna try to keep it short for you guys. Like, dude, like I'm sure you guys have heard of SIGEP, obviously. So I'm Soc Chair 2 years running.
Why are you calling in, Darsh? Like do you want your chart read or not?
I'm trying to give you the fucking background. If you could be patient. I like your math.
Please don't talk
Do
to
you
our
know
host
what
that
this
way.
show is? Like, this is an astrology show.
Yeah, astronomy, dude. That's exactly what I was talking about. Like, so the whole point is Dude, the two hottest sororities on campus. Okay, Alpha Chi and Phi Delta. Okay, so Alpha Chi is like our sister sorority. I'm Soc chair. Because I'm Soc chair, I've got to organize events, dude. I have to organize events. I have to get these chicks to like us, to be chill with us, to sleep with us. And it's really hard to do right now because basically none of them care about anything else other than astronomy or whatever. And I'm trying to, I don't know how to talk to them.
Astrology.
That's what I said.
Okay, sorry. My bad. My hearing's bad.
Yeah, but
Right.
I'm trying.
So
Like,
what
I
about
just need to know.
what does astrology have to do with frat parties, dude? Like what is why
Look,
why are you
dude,
calling in?
every fucking semester, the chicks at AKO get obsessed with like one thing or another. Like last semester, it was Charlie XCX. So I had to listen to all this fucking Charlie XCX shit. And I'm like, okay, now I can talk to you about Charlie XCX, and then they'll fuck us. And but that wore out. So now it's astrology. Cause like, dude, some chick from Phi Delta basically taught them how to do astronomy, and they fucking love it now. It's all they can talk about, dude. It's all they talk about.
Right.
I don't
Okay.
know-
So
I
I
don't
think I
know
see where this is going. So you
Dude, I'm not a
you
dumb
want to
guy,
know about
dude.
astrology
I
because
gotta
the
see
sorority sisters are
economics.
into it?
What?
You want to know about astrology because of the sorority sisters. They like it.
What is so hard to understand about like
The wording.
yes.
That's kind of cute. That's kind of
Girls
cute.
want you
I mean,
to talk to them about shit that they like or whatever. I need to talk to
Do you
them.
know your sun, moon, rising?
I do, that's the problem. I don't know.
Like, it's
what
a man. Just ask him what his sign is.
I don't know what that
The
means.
problem is that some girls will think that you're ran through if you know too much
Stop.
astrology.
You're
So
right.
it has to be a delicate balance.
I don't even that I'm ran through.
Yeah,
I've
if you
been
know
around
too much astrology.
I am ran through, dude. I'm the biggest whore on campus.
Okay, then you should be able to soak up as much as you want then.
The problem is I can't talk to these chicks about it because I don't know the first fucking thing. You guys are talking about fucking sun, moon, rising. I don't know what that means.
Well, that's the first thing.
Here's the beauty of it. Here's the beauty of it. You can just ask the girl and just give her the birth info.
Dude,
and
they
she'll be
asked
like,
me. One of them's like, "Are you a Cancer?" And I thought she was talking about my receding hairline. I didn't know what she was talking about. I didn't know how to say. I told her to get out of my room. I was like, she's never allowed back here. Ever. Nobody talks about my receding hairline. Ever. But anyway, I wasn't even that mad. It just was like, I don't know what cancer is other than, a horrible disease that takes men's hair too early.
When were you born?
None of your business. No, okay,
Okay,
I'll
then.
tell you. 2004.
And
That's my year.
what you have to tell me the day and the
I don't
month
want, dude,
as
I don't
well.
want to get doxxed over here because, dude, like we're in a political climate where if people know I'm even rush chair at Sig Ep, like, dude, there was a huge scandal with Sig Ep recently. I'm not even going to be, I don't want to be associated with that. I'm not telling
I
you.
know, I heard about it on a podcast.
Yeah, you listen to Rogan?
No, another one.
What even other one is there, dude? Rogan fucking rules.
okay. So well then if you
And I
don't
just
want
look,
your
can you
chart
just
read-
tell me? I just need to know some sound bites I can say to these chicks because all they want to know, they're asking me shit. I look like a dumbass. Okay, I can't be so sharing looking like an idiot. I look like a friggin' idiot, dude. I need to know some shit to tell them. When they ask me if I have cancer, I want to be able to say, no, I'm actually fucking Pisces.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe you're a Gemini, twins.
Dude, I will tell them literally, I will tell them anything. I don't care if it's true. I will say anything to get pussy.
I don't know, yeah, try and ask twins if they're Geminis. That sounds like a good idea.
Dude, twins.
You should do that.
Nice, dude. Nice. Fucking twins. Dude, there are twins in AKO. There's two sets of twins, dude. Hell yeah, dude. This is what
go
I'm
up and
talking about.
ask them if they're Geminis. I bet that will go over really well.
I will dude, yes, thank you. I'm having a pledge, write this down right now.
For what it's worth, my sister's grade, there was 2 sets of Gemini twins.
It's nice, dude. Fucking nice, dude. Twins are sick. All right, so what? So like, is there any other advice I can have? Like, I just need to know, what do I tell them when they ask me, like, you know, is your moon in Vertigo or whatever? Like, I need to know. Like, is my moon in Vertigo? I don't fucking know. But what can I lie
you won't
about?
let us read your chart, so we can't tell you.
But
I'm not
also,
gonna
Like, that's the
Mars
point of this
location-
show is you call in and get your chart read, but you're not letting us
I'm not gonna
do
lie,
that.
dude. I haven't watched this show. Okay, I just saw it because this one chick I was fucking likes your show, so I saw her watching it. I figured I'd call you. Do call-ins. If you can't explain it to a smart guy like me, dude, I'm a communications major. Like, I'm not a dumbass. I know what I'm doing. I'm smart. I can read books and shit and understand words. So I'm not really sure what the problem is. If you can't explain it to me,
Congratulations.
who can you explain it to, dude? Dumb it
Well,
down for me, bro.
I don't know. I think you should just give the girl your birth information, all right, and let her see your chart,
But
and
she's
she'll
gonna
tell
fucking
you
curse.
about
Dude,
it.
some of these chicks are freaky as fuck. They're gonna curse me. They're gonna make like a doll out of my hair. It's gonna be fucking. I don't want to do that.
They
Just
can
give
do
me
that
some
without your
sound
birth
bites.
info.
If I tell a girl like, "Oh, baby, you're such a
No, I have a good one. I
you're
have a
such
good
a
one.
vertigo. You're
I have a
such
good
a
one.
vertigo. Like, I love your sign, and your hair tells me you're a vertigo, baby. Like, how? Like, what can I
Are
say?
you a virgin? Are you a Vertigo? 'Cause you're
Yeah,
giving
dude. Yeah,
birth.
hell yeah, dude. They all are, bro. Yes.
You can
They're
also
fucked.
say, are you a Leo? Because you have stunning hair. It's like
What,
a
dude?
lion.
Pledge, write this shit down. I'm sorry, I'm not yelling at you. I'm having
No,
one of
no.
the pledges take notes.
How many have you got in there?
There's just one right now.
Hmm.
You'll speak when spoken to, pledge. They get mouthy.
What does the pledge have a name, or has he just been reduced to pledge?
Yeah, it's bitch. That's his name. Okay.
Okay.
We run a tight ship here at fucking
I'm
SIGAP.
happy to see that the weird frat culture is still intact.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's not weird though. It's cool. My dad said it was just like this in the 80s. Like, exactly the same.
All right,
Awesome.
dude. Well, if you're not gonna let us read your chart, then we gotta let you go. I mean, come on.
All right, what? Fine, dude. Thanks for fucking nothing. Like, cool mask though. We had a masquerade party just like that with AKO like 4 weeks ago. It was sick. But yeah, good luck.
Yeah,
Good luck. You guys give off like mad GDI vibes.
What's?
Yeah, you wouldn't even know what that is, dude. Dude, goddamn independent. You guys didn't even rush. Whatever. I'm fucking over this shit. Fucking Dersh out.
I love this.
The way that I'm like trying to figure out like the Greek letters for GDI. Because like I'm like a ninth houser. I'm like, oh, is that
No idea.
I don't know what that is.
I went to art school.
What is it?
In New York City.
I did get punked. I guess I don't know what it is.
I'm like, I've been around fat people, but like I would never.
I just listened to. There's one of my favorite podcasts called Criminal. Last week's episode was about like this whole frat.
That feels so Scorpio of you.
I only listen to true crime. Yeah. This is
okay. Well, thanks everyone for a great show. Thanks for watching. Thanks for calling in, and Spin Astrology Live from Chris Brennan's living room. I am Alex Harper. All right. And,
wait, was that up there the whole time?
Yeah, that's been my background the whole time. You missed at the beginning. I did a little joke about like that we just got done having like a little cabaret party at Chris Brennan's house because that's what happens, you know. In these.
I've been there, and his studio is a little different now, unfortunately.
That's a flex. I'm like a subtle ass flex. Like, yeah, I've been there.
It's not subtle
I was just in town.
I was just popping
It's a nice
by.
flex. Anyway, thanks so much for. Sorry I was late, but thanks so much for having. This was so fun.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. I've got everyone's information in the description link, but if you guys just want to, sign off and say a little bit about it yourselves, where people can find you, what kind of stuff, that's fine. I'm Alex Harper. You can find me at alexharper.net and on Twitter is at balefulrays.
Who's next?
You, obviously.
Bet. So I'm Quentin Fletcher, and like you can find me on Twitter at Astrobitch13, and I also have a website called Astrobitch Astrology, and then I also have like these business cards that I'm gonna show off because like I'm creative. So like I'm also I'm also a notary, and like here's like my like email and like all the other fuck shit that I do.
Kirah?
I'll go again. Yeah. You can find me. My website's Kirah.world, and I do readings. I love to do them, and I teach. And my podcast, I'm going to start posting episodes again. I did a really great one with Alex, so I'm excited to share that. It's called Time Magic. And yeah, you can find me, online. Oh, I'm going to start doing TikTok. I finally got access to do TikTok lives. I'm kind of obsessed. I just joined on like the political debates because it's fun to argue with MAGAs, but I'm going to start doing readings on TikTok live. So I'm
Yes,
Kirah World on TikTok.
I'm making a TikTok soon too. We should go on there together.
Absolutely.
I think that would be fine.
I'm Alberto. I have a website, translationoflight.org, and I run the Astro Museum on Twitter also.
Wait, can you talk about the Astro Museum?
Yeah, sure. I have a lot of Gemini in the 12th house, and so I started collecting a lot of astrology images over the last several years. And 3 years ago, I just was like, well, I'm just collecting these. Why don't I share them? And I've gone through, and there's like probably 4,000 or 5,000 different images from like every era of astrology, from the 60s to like medieval manuscripts or whatever. And just looking at all the images and like the way that the different glyphs have changed over time pretty radically, and just like 1960s like pop astrology magazines. I'm very eclectic, so a lot of people.
That.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's at Museum Astro on Twitter. It's got a lot of views, and it's kind of a labor of love. I kind of wish there was a place I could put it that all people could access all of the things and sort of search for things, but it's on Twitter, which is kind of a hell site.
I know I was gonna say this needs to be on Instagram.
Yeah, maybe Instagram would be a better place for it, actually. Yeah, I don't know why I started on Twitter. Just maybe because there was all the crazy people here. Twitter.
Yeah. All of us academic Astros are there, but I mean, Instagram's for images. So I say bring it there.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for sharing.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, hopefully more. I want to do this more.
Yeah, I'm trying to do it more often, because I want to do it on TikTok, and I don't know if it will be able to format it the same. I don't know if the TikTok chats will need to be their own thing or not. I don't know if like you can stream cross-platform like that.
Some people do.
Yeah. Does it look weird on the phone? Because I imagine like you got to turn the phone this way.
I think you need multiple devices.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is people watching it.
Oh.
Like if we're broadcasting it like it's like now, right?
Yeah.
They got to turn their phone or else it's going to be really small, right? Because it's
just going to view like this.
Yeah.
We could try it out.
Yeah, I'm going to fucks around with it soon. I haven't hosted my own yet, but I just got the ability and I'm stoked. So
Mercury retrograde court to test it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, thanks guys for coming on, and it's been a great show. I will I'm sure we'll be back. Oh, we have a new episode of the Deathmatch, the quiz show coming up. That's going to be Dorje Padma versus Tara Green. So that should be interesting there. It's like a modern versus traditional astrologer. You know, that one's modern evolutionary, Tara's modern evolutionary, Dorje's very traditional. So it'd be an interesting thing to see who comes out with that one. So that's the next quiz show. That's going to be August 22nd. Well, that'll be the next broadcast. And I'm going to try and do more of these live streams, probably impromptu, right? And then whoever is on can just like join, right? And we can read charts, you know? So stay tuned for more of it. And thanks so much.
Thank
Have a good one.
you.
Thank you.